Without talking too much, I'm Chelsea Cody. I am a member of the digital learning team. And then we have Martine. We're both going to be co-presenting today.
So excited to work with everyone. We're going to be talking about enhancing accessibility with digital tools. I'm really excited about this topic because I'm just learning so many different ways we can create that equitable reach to our students, especially when they're working at home.
Exactly.
If you notice on the
this
right,
first slide, say that again.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to talk about next. So on the first slide, if you take a look, we are available every day from 8 to 9 and 2 to 3, Monday through Friday. You can also leave us messages on our Flipgrid. It's our help topic, and it's just us and you, and we will give you like a full customized tutorial back. So those are just some other ways to reach us. So we got a couple of goals that we want to cover today. The first thing we want to do is explore tools just for improving accessibilities for our students. And we're going to focus on the Google ecosystem. So we're going to look at Meet, Docs, and Slides. At the end, we'll take a couple of questions. Inside the chat and on this slide, there's the presentation link. So if you want to grab the presentation and have it in your arsenal, feel free to do that right now.
We'll give you a second on this slide so you can go ahead and open up the presentation. It'll look almost exactly like what you're seeing on my screen as well.
So if you have a question, you're going to use the chat. Chat's on the right-hand side of the screen. It should have a little square. It may even have a number next to it with notifications like how many messages there are right now. And you just drop any questions you have there. The awesome sauce, Brian Dean, is right there to help answer all your questions.
He is awesome sauce. You are correct on that, Martine. Now that we kind of talked about the tools we're going to be looking at, I wanted to take a second to talk about the why. We are talking about accessibility tools. You're right, Brian. We can't stop it. Accessibility tools because not only do they improve the experience for all of our students that have visual needs or auditory needs or any kind of disability, but they improve the experience for all students. So we're going to talk mostly about accessibility, but you know as well as I do that in Garland, because we have a high ELL population, sometimes our students are not only struggling with disabilities, but they are also English language learners. So we're going to look at a couple of tools that will help with both. The reason why we want to improve accessibility is it provides a better user experience. So if you were to look up an accessibility rating, it would talk about the experience on that certain website or with that application. Then we're going to talk about how we can address those student needs using accessibility and improving that equitable access to the best of our ability. The first one we're going to talk about is captioning in Google Meet. So you don't have to go anywhere to practice this. Okay, you can do this right now. In the Meet that you are in, this GIF on the left here is showing you exactly how to do it. If you are not in the grid view, if I turn off the grid view and I'm in my normal view, that captions is down in the bottom. Now, I will tell you this, my mom is a speech pathologist. She tells me this all the time, that I mumble really badly. So if you have the captions turned on for me, it may be saying some funky words, okay? I will admit to that, but at least you are giving the students a chance to see those. You can also access it from the more buttons or those 3 vertical dots, a snowman, if you will. And you can turn them on and off there as well. And then this is a link that would help your students figure that out, how to use it. Today, as we're moving through the presentation, it will probably be helpful to split your screen. Just so you know, this is exactly what it looks like right now, except on the right, I have a lot of different boxes because I'm using the grid view. And then on the left, I have the presentation open. So you could be doing the same thing. I saw somebody post that they're on a cell phone. So it is harder to pull up the presentation and do a split screen. You can't do a split screen on that. And this is the same conversation you would have with your students about splitting their screen. The only way to really do that on a cell phone is to be switching between the applications, in which case they'd be getting out of the Meet. But looking at it from a PC, a Mac, some kind of laptop, the Chromebook, they can split their screens. The way that you split your screen is up here. You can see this little plus sign. You'd have a new tab, and then you can drag that tab out. So here's an example. I can create a new tab, and then this is going to disappear for you. But when I pull my tab out, you won't see it anymore. And that's another reason why I like to split my screen, is because on the left, I'm able to be working on whatever I'm working there, but I can also see all of my student faces. I can see all of your faces. I can see the questions coming up in the chat. And if there's something that Brian needed me to address, or if Martine wanted me to re-talk about, then I could do that there.
So next thing we're going to talk about, we're going to start by looking at the Google Docs. And so what we'd like you to do, now that we've had you to split your screen, in that new tab, you're going to type in docs.new. And what that's going to do is create a new doc for you, okay? If you'd like to kind of do some of the things that we're doing and follow along with us, that's going to be the best way to do it. So you should have two tabs, one that has the meet that you're in right now, and then the second one will have a Google Doc. And you can create a Google Doc by simply going to the URL and typing docs.new. I'm going to give you a second to do that.
If you're wondering, because we won't use this with the other ones today, but that works the same with slides.new, forms.new. It's a shortcut in the Chrome bar. So you do this, and then you type docs.new. And then you'd see I have an untitled document. And I'm going to go ahead and close out of that one, because I'm going to use a different one.
All right, so we're going to keep going. So one of the things, when there are a lot of third-party tools, and third-party tools are just tools that you can get, extensions, add-ons, those are all third-party tools. There are a lot of them out there that specifically relate to accessibility. But when you're working in Google tools, you have to turn the accessibility on. It's not on automatically. So you just want to take some time just to show you how to turn it on. So let's say, for example, you want to use a screen reader, or you want a student to use a screen reader. Well, if you want that screen reader to read everything on the screen for them, then you've got to turn on the accessibility first. So in order to do that, you're going to go to Tools, which is in the top of that bar. So go ahead and go to Tools. And then when you get to Tools, you're going to go all the way down to Accessibility Settings. And then you turn on the settings that you need. And then if you notice,
good.
then if you notice on the right-hand side of the toolbar, it's going to now say accessibility. And the student could use that toolbar to have certain things speak for them, or any other accessibility options that are available to them in Docs, you'll find those there.
And I'll model that here in just a second too. Yeah, that's what I was going to add on. Before I model all of this, I wanted to show you what it looks like, and then we'll have a chance to practice all of this in the Google Doc. So the next thing we wanted to talk about was voice typing in Google Docs. This is another thing that you would have the students do on their side. In Google Docs, the students can talk, and it will record their voice. Okay. How do you split your screen? Audrey, I'll model this really quickly. If you add a new tab up here on your Chrome bar, you can pull that tab out, and then it will let you have it side by side.
Okay, say it again.
Yep, you can start a new tab.
Okay.
So right now we're in the Google Meet, and then I am clicking and I'm dragging on that tab, and it's disappearing when I'm dragging because I'm taking it out of that window. Because right now I'm only presenting the one window.
Okay, that didn't work. Okay, take the tab.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me? Let me check my voice.
Yeah, oh yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry. I'm going to take the tab, drag it to the screen, right?
Yep, you're just dragging it off of that window.
Okay, I did, and then nothing else happened. I don't see.
Okay, what I'm
Is
going
it
to have
because
you
you're
do
presenting?
is I am presenting, so you won't see it. I'm going to have you wait, and then when we get to our next Q&A, we'll add those questions in. We'll go
Okay.
back and model that
No
for you so
problem.
you can see it.
I'll mute myself. No problem.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. In our voice typing in Docs, you're going to open your document wherever you want it to be, and you're going to go to Tools, and then under Tools, you're going to click Voice Typing. And what's very important is that you choose the language. So you can see in the GIF there are lots of different languages to choose. It is not automatically translating. I don't know if you've seen that Microsoft commercial where the girl is talking to the reindeer. It's not like that. It's trying to take the words that you are speaking and turn them into written text. So if I'm speaking in Spanish, but I choose English, it's going to keep trying to make my words English, but it doesn't mean that it's translating. So if my student's speaking in Spanish, they would want to record that text in Spanish. Okay, you can see this too. I took a writing prompt from the 4th grade assignment that's coming up here in a couple of weeks. So this is something you could provide to your students if they're doing that assignment. After you have the tool open, you are going to click the microphone to start recording. Now it's going to record wherever your cursor is. So if I put my cursor at the top of the document, it's going to start recording there. And it's going to keep recording what I'm saying until I click that microphone again. So if whenever I finish whatever I want to say, whatever I want to be recorded and typed out, I want to make sure and turn off that mic. I did want to make a note here, and we can hit this when we come back to our slides. You can also voice type in slides. It just doesn't go onto the actual slide layout. It would be hidden down in the speaker notes. However, if you're working with a student that you would like them to have this ability, they could write in their speaker notes instead of up on the slide. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this live, and you should have your docs.new open, so you could be doing this at the same time. I'm not going to narrate it all out loud. I'm just going to model it so that you can see it, but you can be practicing it on your own. When you do your mic, you're all muted in here. So no matter what you say in your voice typing, it's not going to be a cacophony of everybody talking over each other. It will record in your doc. So feel free to actually start the voice typing, have it record, and practice. So I'm going to click on my doc so you can see this. The computer's catching up a little bit. Earlier, Martine modeled this too, going down to our accessibility settings. You're going to hear me talking because I'm not muted, but it should be recording. You see it's taking a second to get caught up with what I'm saying, and I can tell that it is processing because I'm seeing those dots. If I want to add a period, I can say period, or I can pause, say quotation marks, and then type what I need. When I'm done, I click the microphone, and then I can delete. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on. Hopefully you were able to practice your voice typing. Once you have something recorded in your document, you can also sorry, Pam, I saw your comment about it not accessing. I would make sure you're accessing with your Garland account. That might be an issue. You can also translate a full document. So if I want to translate the document, I already have something typed out, I can click translate and choose the language, and it will create a full copy of that document in that language. I can remember back to my middle school, high school, and college Spanish days, translating full paragraphs into another language is never perfect. So you might translate, use that as your starting point, and then go back and fix what needs to be fixed. So I'm going to have my document. I'm gonna model this for you. Oh, my internet's running just a little bit behind on a couple of things. So in my document, I'm gonna go to Tools. I'm gonna go to Translate Document. And then I can choose what language I want to translate to. In this case, I'm going to do Spanish, but you can see there is a large variety of languages. Someday, Martine, I want to go through these languages and pick one and figure out what country speaks that language.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Because some of these I can kind of guess where they're at, but a lot of them I can't tell.
Some of them are dialects too.
Yes, I saw that. And then here I've got my Spanish version, and you see that it is the same formatting. I've got my box. Down here is where I did that voice typing. I can check it, see what needs to be done, and then I could use that with my students if necessary, or my student could translate what they are doing as well. This copy is located in the same folder wherever I had the original document. So it says translated copy, and then I have my other copy of the document.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about alt text. With alt text, it just gives you the option to add some verbiage to describe pictures. When you're working with students or individuals who are using a screen reader where they're having the computer read everything on the screen, when it comes to any kind of image, if you don't actually put some descriptive text there, it literally just says image. And so that person doesn't know what the image is about. And so when you're providing alt text, it gives readers who are using things like a screen reader an opportunity to have access to all of the items on the page. So in order to use this feature, you would insert your picture, then you would right click on the picture so that it gets those blue bars all the way around, scroll down to alt text, and then the best practice is to give it a title and give it a short description. You want that description to do a really good job of explaining what the image is about or what's in the image, but you don't want it to be too lengthy. So that's just one way, or another way that you can support students who are using the screen reader as a tool. Otherwise, they won't know what any of the images are.
And I'm going to go ahead and model that really quickly. So I'm going to insert an image, and I'm just going to choose one from my desktop. Let's do our office hours. And if this was a screen reader, they wouldn't be able to see it. So I'm clicking the blue around it. I'm going
and
to
right
option.
click on it. Yeah. Just right
I wonder
click
if my
on
right
the
click is being real slow. There we go.
There you go.
Alt text. The title of here, I would say Digital Learning Team Support Image. And my description could be, now imagine I'm writing this about something like the water cycle, or if I had a point of view anchor chart, I'm describing what's in the anchor chart to my students, the information I would want them to glean if this was a screen reader. Something short and concise. I wouldn't put the little dashes there. I would actually type out through. Hopefully you're catching the point on that. And then when I click OK, it doesn't alter anything in the doc again. It's just if the screen reader were to come across this image, it would now say the correct information. That is something I did not know about until Martine was showing me that today.
Yeah. Any questions for us right now? We'll take questions. In order to give questions, there's what we call the nod extension. Just click on it and raise your hand. Do we have any questions at this time? Just want to take a beat, make sure we offer an opportunity for questions before we move on. Yeah, Teresa, talk to us. Oh,
Teresa,
you're not.
I think you're still muted. Yep.
We can't hear you. There we go.
Sorry, I thought you unmuted me.
Nope.
I think in my other meetings, they mute me themselves.
Nope.
Okay, so I got my picture in and I did my alt text and then I lost you. So then what happens with it next?
So when a
Doesn't show
student is
up.
using a screen reader, okay, and that student would have that screen reader turned on, that screen reader is going to read aloud every single thing on the page. When it gets to the picture, whatever text that you provided, it's going to read that out loud for the student.
Okay, gotcha.
So you don't see anything, but when a screen reader is in place, it works perfectly for the kids.
Okay, thank you.
Great question. Any other questions before we move on? All right, well, we can keep rocking and rolling, I think, Chelsea.
I think so too. Okay, so coming up next is Google Slide accessibility tools. We just have a couple here for you. In Google Slides, because it's a different layout, it's not reading straight line by line by line. It's going to look a little bit different. The first thing we wanted to talk about is inserting audio into slides. I'm not going to go out and model this one unless you'd like me to during our Q&A time, just because you can record the sound with a variety of platforms. One platform that I really like to record the sound, which is our first step, is this online free recording option. Okay, it's called onlinevoicerecorder.com. And if you click on that link, when you have the slides up, it will take you there. This is really nice because it doesn't require you to sign in. So every time I go to this website, it asks permission to use my microphone. That's because it's not remembering who I am. So for students or for you, this is a really easy tool to use without having to sign into Google, it being added to your Google. Whenever you save your recording, after you can splice it, you can enhance it, it saves directly to your desktop. If you're on a Chromebook, it would save to your downloads, or if you have a download folder in your drive. You could do the same thing. You could record your voice on your phone. You could record your voice if you're on a PC. There's a voice recorder. You could record on that. But the main thing for step one is that you're going to record the audio that you want to be on your slide. Okay. So in this GIF, I'm showing you I'm recording, I'm trimming, I'm saving. The next step is putting that audio up into your drive. Okay, a little bit of a background here. I have created a voice recording folder in my drive where I put every voice recording, regardless of what subject. The reason that I do that is my setting on that folder is anybody with the link can view. If I record all of these voice recordings, all of these MP3s, but I don't have the setting that anybody with a link can view, I might have students who are having trouble accessing that. So if they're not using a Garland account, if they aren't, if I have only given it access to myself, when they click the audio, it's not going to open. Okay, so that's really important. That's the next big step, is making sure that all of your audio files have the correct share setting. And that's what is being modeled here. So I created the folder, made it everybody with the link can view. And then when I'm adding my MP3 to that folder, it's automatically getting that same share setting. I'll let you see that one more time. Okay, and then the final step, this is the easy step. Once you've done the recording, this is the part that takes the least amount of work. All of those other steps are the more time consuming. Once I have my slide presentation done, I'm going to go to Insert and then Audio, and I pick whichever MP3 I would like to be inserted. It is going to be inserted on whatever slide I am on. So if I record a reading of a multiple choice question, if I'm recording a paragraph, I want to make sure that audio is next to whatever it's going to match. So you can see on this slide, I have an example. And if I click on it, you guys aren't going to see, excuse me, I don't know why it went forward there. My mouse is being touchy today. If I click on that audio recording, you guys won't hear it because we're in the Meet, but you can see that it popped up a play button, and then I was able to see the track as it's moving through. If you are wanting more resources, everything I just walked you through is in this Shake Up Learning tutorial right here. It's written as a blog, or you can watch this Fried Technology tutorial, which is a video walkthrough of everything of how to put the audio in. You can also choose if the audio is going to start on click. So if I click it and it plays, or if a student is on that slide in the presentation mode, if it starts automatically. There's a couple of things there.
All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is captioning in slides. I don't know if you knew that you can actually create like a captioning as you spoke when you were presenting in a Google Slides. I'm going to show you how to do that. It's real simple, so I'm going to have Chelsea bring her cursor down to the, and if you notice at the very bottom of the screen, she's at the very bottom, and she's going to click on the CC for captions.
Mom, you didn't get any underwear.
And as she does that, sorry guys, I got a little baby that's, yeah, there you go. All right, you're gonna go ahead and click on that caption.
And then when I start talking, it takes a second to pick up, but those captions will be at the bottom. Again, please excuse my mumbling. Sometimes it comes up with some crazy words for what it thinks I am saying. But this would be an easy way for your students, again, to see what you are saying.
Oh, that's a great question. No, not at this time, but what I always like to say with Google is probably one of the few companies that does an excellent job of taking our feedback and making improvements. So it can't do that at this time as far as being able to do it in a different language. But anytime you see that little feedback symbol on Google's products, go ahead and click on that feedback and give them that feedback, because they really do look at their feedback and improve their system.
And with that, we have gotten to the part where we're going to be wrapping up our webinar and heading into our Q&A. So you see over here on the left, we've got our office hours again. We've got our Flipgrid help topics. You can always reach out there. Because you attended our webinar today, we want to make sure that you are marked in on our attendance. So Brian has been posting that throughout our webinar. Make sure you click on there. The title of our webinar today, again, was Enhancing Accessibility with Digital Tools. And if you don't have the title exactly, we'll be able to figure it out as long as you have accessibility in there.
Thank y'all so much for joining us. Okay, thanks, Romina. So Thursday, if you enjoyed this, we're going to be doing some electric sliding with Google Slides. So if you're a big fan of the electric slide, come on down Thursday. We'll be doing a little bit of the electric slide with Google Slides. We're going to be looking at some little known things that you may not know about the Google Slide and maybe some advanced features.